Well, hey everybody. It's your old friend V. How's it going on there? It's been a while. It's 322 and I haven't been doing a whole lot of mining lately. It really is around the same place it's been for a little while. Although it's a very much more in-depth process than it was, a year and a half ago. And I thought I would just take you on a day in the life prospector run nowadays. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and show you to the best of my ability kind of what I suggest and what I've been up to lately as far as doing a little mining. And let's just take it from there, right? So let's talk about the prospector layouts first of all. Okay, if we take a look at the prospectors that I have, and I do have two, right? I have this prospector here. That is going to be, I actually like this Deck the Halls livery here, this kind of green livery here. So I do have this one kind of applied. You can see I have a few options there. The prospector still, even in its kind of weakened state, remains my favorite ship. I do have the Atlas drive on it. The rest of the stuff is standard. Of course, the main thing that you usually upgrade with your prospector is going to be the mining laser. Not that the Arbor is a bad laser. It's actually a really good starting laser now. But in this particular case, I'm opting for the Helix, which is a little bit more power, but it has a couple of focus 3s on it, which should open the optimal window a little more for me. They do degrade the power a little bit, but the optimal window's significantly, more open now. One of the things about the Helix, much different than say my other setup, which is going to be the Hofstad, but let's go ahead and take a look at that. The Helix is, you use distance control. And I'll demonstrate that as we're mining. At least I hope I will, successfully. And so here we go. This one here, this is my all-time favorite, the Aphrodite livery. Of course, this reminds me a little bit of the slightly of the mole carbon. I wish that that livery was available, that carbon livery, but I really do like that on there. Of course, this has a VK00, which is a little bit shorter range drive. Both the Atlas is a better all-arounder, I think. Of course, the VK00 is a very fast short range drive. The other components, once again, are kind of standard, the defaults in my in this prospector. And from here, though, I do have a Hofstad, which is a little bit more forgiving. It's not as powerful, but it's a little more forgiving of a laser. And then I do couple that with a Rieger C3, so I'm trying to boost the power a little bit with it. So I want the Hofstad to maybe extend its range a little higher. The Helix overall is going to give me more flexibility as far as hitting big, being able to break a little bit bigger rocks. But I have not gone for a pure power build. I don't have like a Helix with a Rieger C3 and then like a Stampede or a Surge, something that you could really, really get up in those 15,000 ranges. But that's mainly because it's a bit of a rodeo then in the optimal window. So I'm trying to kind of offset, obviously the Helix, being what it is a powerful laser, and using the two focuses, like I said, they do knock the power down a touch, but it is usually at least a slightly friendlier optimal window. It actually can be just a sliver sometimes with the Helix. So this is the one that I'm going to take out. It actually requires maybe a little more attention to detail, and I think that you maybe get more out of this. But once again, I will say the Arbor is an absolutely fine laser to use as the starting laser as well. So let's talk about, I'm going to go ahead and this is my Prospector 1. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that fella, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. Now, one of the things that I will say is we are on CRUL1, and we will be heading towards, I think everybody's kind of favorite hangout, at least as I recall it, is usually around Selin, and that's because the size of, it's like I think the size range is like a 1 to 3. I've actually been having maybe slightly better luck myself lately on Yela surface mining. that doesn't necessarily, I mean, obviously, you know, mining is a bit like fishing, right? You know, it really is just depends on the RNG, depends on how you know, it just depends. Sometimes you're going to get lucky, sometimes you're not. Now, the rocks have dramatically changed, and one of the things that a lot of people should know, and you know, and let me just do this, you know, obviously proper shout out. Of course, if you know, a lot of the numbers I draw that I'm going to speak to in this video, they come right from Red Monster. I mean, let's not, you know, that channel has incredible spreadsheet game. I mean, I'm not even a monkey with it. I mean, it is what it is, and so I trust those numbers there until I'm given a reason not to. So, yeah, so I think the size range on Selin is 1 to 3, but the size range on you know, on Yela is like 1 to 4, so you can get slightly bigger rocks there. Like Damar's 2 to 6, so you can really. It's not that you're not going to find some pretty good sized rocks on Yela. You absolutely are. And so, but that being said, so a little bit of pre-flight here. It's never a bad idea to hit M. Double check that your modules, everything seems to be working okay. You know, and from there, I'm just going to go ahead and lift off with the sticks. I'm going to go ahead and raise the gear, and out we're going to go. Now, one of the things about CRUL1, it's you can't necessarily, and I'll just demonstrate real quick. It's funny. You can't just, you know, come in here and target and set route to, look, I'm banging away at it. You can't set route right to Crusader. No big deal. What you need to do as soon as you depart CRUL1 is just kind of go down here beneath the station, and you don't even have to get down here very far, but I just tend to just pivot and fly underneath the station, and then as soon as I do that, then you're able to pivot to Crusader, and so that's what we're doing there. I'm going to go ahead and spool the drive, and we're going to jump towards Crusader. So yeah, you know, I will say I haven't been around as much. I've been around a little more in the background, but I haven't been posting many videos lately. And you know, that's just life, no big deal. And I will say it really does. It kind of speaks to the state that mining is in. It's not that it's not fun. It's not that it's not. You know, that the depth has increased significantly of mining, and that it's, you know, and that it's a cool gameplay loop. It's just that, you know, if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna spend time in the verse and your thought is to make money, there's just other ways to do it. You know what I mean? And so that's not necessarily my main goal. I've been kind of getting back to just kind of doing some prospector runs and having a little fun with it. Of course, solo mole mining is really kind of, you know, more in your wheelhouse. Now, can be more in your wheelhouse if you are really looking to kind of maximize the profit. I should finish that thought. But I will say I also don't have the on both of my prospectors, I haven't upgraded the bags from the moles either. So I'm not working with the 48 SCU bags, and I highly recommend that. If you're really gonna main game the Prospector, definitely work with a mole pilot to just kind of get the mole bags and replace the Prospector ones. There's a little bit of trick once you do that, fly back in, like remove a gun, save a gun, and they become persistent after that. So yeah, I mean, I always recommend upgrading the Prospector bags with the mole bags. In this particular case, I think it's going to serve the video well to be not so quite as long, because that's the thing. It's not, you know, at least it's been my experience that it's not that simple to find things, you know, right off the bat. I mean, sometimes you get a little lucky. So notice here, I dropped out before I got to Crusader. I highly recommend you do that. It's going to save you some time. I'm just going to redirect towards Yela directly, and you know, I'm not going to. Sometimes if you get too close to Crusader, you're a little bit. You can't necessarily see an OM marker. You're can be kind of trapped against it. So if I'm going to Damar, Yela, or Selin, I definitely, as soon as I kind of cross that outer ring, and what I mean by that is, as soon as I cross this outer ring, I generally will stop my quantum and then just redirect towards Yela. It also, you know, makes you less obvious, like you're not, you know, people could be sitting right at the spot where you come out of Crusader, if they're, you know, if you're going to experience any issues like that. I also will say, as we approach Yela, I am a daytime. I like to mine in the daytime. I also will switch from sticks to mouse and keyboard for a little more accuracy. you know, at least that's the way that I like to do it. It's a little bit of a hybrid model. I'm flying with sticks for quite a long time. And this is what I liked. When I first get to Yela, I like to kind of pick a place that's on this side of the planet, meaning like somewhere between Crusader and Yela. I like to kind of, you know, get in there. It's going to give you a little bit more daylight time. So we are going to talk about, you know, kind of the rock makeups that I'm looking for. One of the reasons why I like this location is because you're two different like fillers that are going to be in the rocks that you're looking at are going to be aluminum and titanium. Aluminum, I think, has a 0.9 cluster value, and aluminum is a 0.7 cluster value, and titanium is a 0.9 cluster value. And that's one of the things that a lot of people, you know, if you haven't looked closely at it, you really should learn that. Cluster value becomes an important mechanic when it comes to how much of a pure concentration you're going to get when you break it down into secondary. So here's the goal, right? I'm looking for bexolite, terranite, gold, or quantanium. Those are the 4 tier ones. So terranite, bexolite, gold, or quantanium, north of 40%. And the ideal, like, secondary would be titanium based on its high cluster value. And doesn't necessarily mean anything. Now, if you're 37, 38%, you're going to see a lot more like you know, 60-40 splits. You know what I mean? When you start getting 44%, that type of thing. So, you know, that's when you start, you know, where you get a secondary break that potentially can be 100% pure. But the first thing I want to talk about is, let's talk about scanning, okay? And so the first thing I'm going to do is, the first thing you want to do is kind of, I'm setting my velocity. You see my velocity, you can see it there. I'm moving it up and down. It's going between blue and red on the left-hand side of the UI. I like to set that bottom of the box right about even with the velocity indicator. When I'm mining, okay, so that's the first thing, right? The second thing is I'm going to hit V, and V is going to put me into scan mode. Now, note I'm using my mouse here. I have a certain settings. My mouse wheel is scrolling back and forth for my scan angle. Now, I'm generally going to scan angle at 180. Okay. Now, once there is an opportunity marker, I am going to collapse my scan angle and ping again. And well, you know, I'll generally show you how that works or whatever. But let's go ahead and see. So we're coming down here. I'm going to send out a pulse. I'm going to send out a ping. Oh, right off the bat, there's a very good size 10,000. You know, it's a very good size signature there, a 10,000 920 signature. But I'm not necessarily seeing it, so it's pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of close the scan, open the scan up a little bit. I'm looking for it, right? But I don't see them yet. So I'm just kind of looking. And normally you get an opportunity marker, but I have a feeling I'm pretty close to them right now. And so, but you know, it's like, where are they exactly? I'm not exactly sure. So that doesn't always happen, right? And sometimes, you know, when you get away from them a little bit, you know, you can turn around and actually kind of get on them. But I'm actually going to just kind of pivot here. Okay, so you can see, if you look here, I lose the RS signature. If I turn this way, I gain the RS signature, right? So they're over this way somewhat. And I just seen them. I think I seen them spot over here. So if you can see on the left-hand side of my UI, there was a, you know, you can see the white markers at 39%. That kind of indicated to me. And if you see me ping back here, you can see there's kind of a, now, let's go ahead and approach that. That should be considered. And look how beautiful it is, by the way, here. You know, obviously, you know, 323s, you know, who knows when that will be here. You know, very aggressive, very aggressive, amount of features in that particular you know, patch that's coming along, but we're still kind of here in 3.22, and yeah, not a bad place to start. Let's go ahead, and we're moving in now. I'm going to switch over to mining mode. I am going to trim my velocity back. And you can see my laser intensity on the right-hand side of my UI is already at 100. And that's because we're going to use distance control more. And so give me a second and just take a sip. Okay. Now, first things first, right? Here's some good news. We know this is a titanium field. Usually the first rock you indicate, you take a scan at, it'll on this moon, it will either say aluminum or titanium. Now, aluminum's not a bad cluster value at 0.7. Titanium's better at 0.9. You can see the bexolite here. That is a tier 1 resource, but it's only at 32%. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to try and do things that are north of 40%. That means it's significantly more difficult too. Also, the thing we have to pay attention to is the mass, right? 8,000 mass is a doable thing. Really 10, 11,000 mass can be doable, but it does depend on the resistance and the instability. So once again, a 28% bexolite there. And the problem is when they're that low, oh, you can see actually, I think someone's probably mined here. Considering, I mean, you don't normally see that many pickers. And what I mean by that is you can see that's an 11% gold. This seems to be looks like some tailings, right? If I were to guess, let's just kind of look at what these are. They're going to be that's a 1329 picker. And that is, yeah, just 19% gold, that type of thing. So this actually looks like some, a place that might have been picked over to me a little bit. Hard to say. But that does look like some tailings there. Now there's 26% Terranite. Now sometimes you will get a double a tier 1, meaning like it's bexolite and Terranite or bexolite and gold or something like that. You don't see it often. Now that's close, right? That's close. Now I'll actually break this rock to kind of demonstrate kind of what I'm talking about. I would love if I could take 37% Terranites, but it's been usually my experience, it's not across the board, and we'll see what happens this time, that they break in a kind of a dirty, like 60-40 type secondary break, which is just, by the time you're bringing that Terranite on board, you're bringing so much titanium and inert on board as well, that it's just not profitable. That's a 28% Terranite. Let's see what we have here. I do want to finish scanning all the rocks that are available to us. This here is a 7800 mass rock. So we really have some beautiful mass rocks. Unfortunately, that's a titanium rock, as it's pure. And then so I am going to break this one rock down here that I was talking about. Now, I may not scoop it for the purposes of this video. It just depends on how cleanly it breaks. One of the things here is, I'm using this indicator right over here as I approach, right? And you can see the helix doesn't give you a whole lot of room between that. Now, if you're in this area here, you're going to take damage when the rock explodes. But it's only a 7,000 mass rock. So what I normally do is I'm going to kind of approach and notice, once again, I am at 100% right off the bat. So I am hitting the rock. I'm going to hold down G. That's going to kind of free up my... Now, I'm going to begin inching forward. I'm actually going to use my distance to begin applying charge level here. That's what's important to me, is the distance applies the charge level. So I'm still outside the range. You can see here, like up in this area, I'm still outside the range. But once again, I'm inching forward. And then if you will begin to see, as soon as I kind of get in the area of optimal, that it will begin to, crack the rock. So let's go ahead here. I'm pretty close. I'm surprised it's not doing it already. And I've got no charge level at all. That's actually kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, this is, oh, there we go. I was like, that is very interesting. I mean, I am inside the charge level now. Now notice, I'm going to actually move forward even a little more. Now I'm well inside the area that would damage my ship. Potentially give me, some damage. But I'm actually going to let it run up at this close. I'm gonna get it into the optimal, and I'm actually gonna nudge my way back out of, and it will begin to decay, no question about it. But you can see it's not climbing very fast. And I will tell you, my expectation is I'm probably not scooping this. This is more of a demonstration break. But I thought that I would do this for you so you can kind of see. I've used 100% laser, but I'm using distance control. You know, and if anything is north of 70% or even 65%, I'll probably scoop it. But if there is when things are north. Oh, you can see it wanted to jump up there. So notice I rolled back just a bit. Now let's see if it decays out. It is decaying out. So I'm having to get a little more closer to this rock than I'm comfortable with to break through. But that's okay. The good news is it's a big optimal window. And as long as I kind of play my cards right, you can see I'm nudging forward, nudging back. I'm kind of feeling it out. I'm going to let it jump into the green. But then as it kind of climbs to like the 75% mark of the green, I need to be real careful and back away. So, hopefully you get a little lucky and it doesn't get too crazy right out of the gate. Now you see I nudged back, I nudged forward. That's how you're controlling the power here. Now I got a little lucky there. I'm nudging forward again so I don't lose everything. But you've got to be careful if you nudge forward too much. Now, I'm backing up. You want to back up, when you get an opportunity to. And yeah, you can see the server here is having a little bit of a funny time with it as well. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. All right, it broke. I don't think my ship took any damage, and that's great. So now we're going to go into extraction mode, and what we're looking for is, hey, this turned out great. There's a 95% Terranite rock. I got lucky. But keep in mind, you will have to close this gap. You will have to get within this gap here if you want to actually scoop good. So you kind of got to get right down on it when you're scooping with the Helix. In order to kind of scoop that fast. This is unusual for me. I will say that I don't generally get a good clean 95% break. But hey, we'll take it. That's a very clean, like not even a 7. It's better than a 7 to 1. You know what I mean? Although, oh my goodness, we've really got some lag going there for a minute. And not sure what was happening there, but it certainly was lagging. The server might be just hanging on. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to scan this next. This is, quartzite deposit here. And I'm just going to hit F12 for just a second to see if anybody is talking about anything going on with the server. Doesn't necessarily look like it. And you can see here, 84% titanium, 15% of the Terranite. I'm definitely not going to be doing that. The good news is, like I said, the titanium is cluster value is very high. So it's going to try and clump together as much as you see, as I pointed, one of the reasons we found such a nice concentration is because titanium clumps so well there. So that's, I'm really finding, I like Yela surface mining right now for solo prospecting. It is doing well. Once again, there's a 15% Terranite, very high concentration there. So I am expecting there to be maybe one other rock with a pretty good concentration of Terranite. And there it is, right? There's a 90% Terranite. So we really did, a 37%er. That's about as clean of a break as you're going to get. And I'm very happy with that. Let's take a look at this last piece here. "100% titanium. For our first pull, we took in less than an SCU of garbage, and we pulled in 11.23 of a tier 1 resource. So we have nothing to complain about there. So now we're going to rinse and repeat, right? We set our 180 ping angle. We send out pings. We find an opportunity marker. I put my cursor right over it. I ping again. And then I find, the actual where the scan is at. And in this particular case, I hold down and do a longer scan. So I push and hold on the scan. And then I switch over back to mining mode as we approach them. In this particular case, it looks like there's going to be maybe, 2 or 3 rocks over this way. So let's go ahead and see what we have. So, really got lucky on that first one. It's great. I really like it, obviously when you get lucky. And so here we go. We got about a third of it filled already. And let's see what the rest of it is. Now, notice it says 100% inert. That's not what it is. Just roll off of it, roll back on. You can see it's a grisium and titanium. So once again, it is a titanium, field, you know, which is always good. Let's go ahead. This is also a quartzite deposit, very, you know, very doable mass at 6705. Our upper mass, like I said, is going to be around 11,000, 12,000, you know, depending on things. Now, these are, when they're purple outlined, I call them pickers. I don't tend to usually grab them because they're, you know, very, you know, like it's normally no higher than the 30% in the, you know, whatever the resource is. You can see like titanium 62% on that one. Baxolite was 32% on the other one, I believe. Now I will top off with pickers if they're in the field that I'm at. You know what I mean? Like if I'm at like 31.5 SCU and I want to, you know, I want to see what else is there. So that field didn't yield me anything. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and roll my velocity up just a touch. And then I'm going to go back into scan mode by hitting V. And I'm going to ping out on a 180 scan. And, you know, I'm just going to cruise along here. And then see what I see, you know. And I'm not going too crazy. I want to try and stay in the daylight as much as I can. But I will swing a little as I'm kind of cruising. And I will, you know, make sure that your velocity is exactly where it needs to be. And we'll just cruise along here until we get some opportunity markers going. Once again, it's a 180 scan. It's kind of a cone out in front of you. It's a 360. A 360 scan would be 100%, you know, entirely around you. The 180 scan, I guess, if you kind of make a, you know, kind of a cone out in front of you, would be kind of the scan angle that it, you know, works in. Okay, excellent. What do we have over this way? Let's take a look. An RS signature value in 1950. That's going to be a gem, but I'm still going to send my my focused ping on it, and then you know I'm going to click and hold for my long scan. Oh, yeah, usually that's a gem. This happens to be just kind of a single rock. You know, generally speaking. Now, there's probably an RS signature value. I think that's there. In fact, there's a 620 when it's a gem, so it would have been more like 1860. I probably should have thought of that. No big deal. Let's go ahead and approach the single rock. It is unusual that there are single rocks, but you know, on planet surfaces, but they do happen from time to time. And I sure don't mind taking a peek because it is one of our opportunities that we can kind of get after here. Once again, I put on mining mode. I love the fact that we can adjust the speed now in mining mode. That's very helpful. I'm going to inch my way in and give it a scan and see what it is that. It's just a titanium rock, so that's not going to work for us. So I'm putting the power, you know, back up. Ooh, a little higher than I wanted to. Let's go. Yep. All right, and then once again, here's a 180 ping. I'm going to send it out. And this is us until we kind of fill up, right? We're going to keep looking around for things. And this is the game right now. And you know, if I'm just being honest, there's far more lucrative ways to make money in Star Citizen. Now, I am desperately cannot wait for the time when they, you know, where mining has a purpose. Because the purpose isn't making money. It's not nearly on par with other ways to make money. Now, I will say they've nerfed some of the more egregious ways to make money, but I will say, since I've, you know, in the recent 2 weeks or so that I've been kind of back and messing around, I haven't gone and checked to see if, you know, some of the old ways of making. I'm assuming that they're still there, like if you're doing like the ERTs or the, you know, the real hard bounty missions that the things you shoot out of the sky still have probably some cargo that you can load on board, and it's just quicker. And I don't begrudge that. I mean, it is combat, right? I mean, it is, you know, okay, that's an 1820, and then here is, this is a 9,000, it looks like. Yeah, cool. Let's go ahead and hit that guy, and I'm gonna go ahead and hold scan on that. Ooh, I kind of lost it there. We're approaching it. Ah, there they are. They were off to the side. I can almost see them right there. You know, quite a long ways away, but nonetheless, there they are. Let's go in and take a look and see what we got. And you know, I have found that I can honestly fly around here for quite a long time now. That is, it was just some condensation on the bubble canopy. For a minute, I thought it was a ship taking over. What is that? No big deal. Let's go ahead and once again, I'm going to go into mining mode. I'm going to reduce my velocity. I'm going to approach these rocks. Now, if they won't scan, turn off your mining laser and just give them a strafe. That's what I found. Give them an old strafe, and then as soon as you kind of turn on the mining, one of them disappeared there, whatever. You know, and that was really weird. There was a rock right there and it disappeared. No big deal that it did disappear. Let's go ahead and see what we have. This is a atacamite. That's a 36% terranite. So that's interesting. Let's go and see if there's anything a little better than that. And we'll break that one down. That's a big rock. That's a 58,000 mass rock. What's funny is that's an 8,000 mass rock, right? What's this guy? This is titanium, very small mass at 1,200. And based on the size of that other rock, this one's probably large too. Yeah, 40,000. And a 40% Bex rock. So here we go again. Now, one of the big differences between this rock and the last rock I broke is that it's not as much. The last rock I broke had much lower inert, I think. You know, but let's go ahead. We'll break this guy anyways. Like I said, these are for demonstration purposes. So once again, I am using distance control. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to turn on my laser when I'm around here in distance and walk it in. So, you know, 100% laser. Here we go. I'm moving it in. I'm moving it in, and let's go ahead and put it in fracturing mode. I'm going to go ahead and hit G here, and I'm going to start inching in, right? And I'm looking for when, you know, I start getting charge level in here. And, you know, I'm going to end up getting within a range that's pretty, you know, pretty uncomfortable. That would damage my ship. But because my optimal window is so big, I'm going to, you know, I'm definitely going to let it decay out. You know, so I'm going to try and back away when, you know, it's pretty high in the optimal level. And then, you know, kind of get myself out of the trouble of distance or whatever. So I am in pretty aggressively, but that's just so I can increase the charge level at a little bit greater rate to kind of close the gap between where the bottom of the optimal window begins. So that's what we're doing right now. Very much enjoying this. Okay, you can see I'm gonna. As it approaches, I did back away just a touch. And I'm now watching, am I fading out or am I fading in? And it looks like I'm fading out. So I just nudge forward just a touch. And I still am fading out a touch. Nudge forward again. And this is not necessarily, it can be a bit of a rodeo. This isn't necessarily easy. Right, it still seems like it's fading out, but if I were to guess, it's probably just in a bit of a stall. Yep, you can see it pushing up. That's what I was going to say, you know. This actually isn't a bad clip that it's climbing now. And so once again, we're 100% using distance. You know, my laser intensity has not changed at all. It's been 100%, and I'm using the distance to the rock to control what we want to do. Now, it's very important that I get away from this rock before it breaks. That means that, you know, I want to leave the optimal window in kind of a high part of the decay right before the break and begin backing away. So I'm going to inch forward one other time just to kind of force it to kind of get a little more. And it's so funny. I mean, little nudges really can make it swing very wildly different. So it is interesting. But I did nudge forward a touch, you know, about 15 seconds ago, and you can see it's starting to make an impact. It's going up. I'm going to nudge forward one more time. I don't want it to wildly swing, but I definitely want to push it up into the optimal before before my beard gets longer. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm watching it very closely. Now I'm in the green. Now I nudged back a bit. Notice all I'm trying to do is hold it in the optimal. I'm still in a spot where it'll damage me, right? So, you know, I'm going to give it a little more. I'm going to try and get it up a little more. And then I'm going to back away here right now. I'm starting to back away, back away, back away, back away. And the reason I did that, did I lose it? Ah, I did. I lost it. No big deal. But it's because I don't want to damage my ship. Now, you know, that wasn't a great demonstration of it. I thought I was kind of close enough to where I needed to be. Yep, let's go ahead and find our way again. But that's, you know, I would rather back away and live to see another day than have some kind of a situation where I blow my my modules off my laser head, which can definitely happen. So, okay, we're inching in. We're inching in. Foul out, I think. Okay, that's inching in good. Once again, I really want to be careful here. I don't want to... All right, backing away, backing away, backing away. That's what we want to do. See, we do not want that thing. You know, we cannot be in that dangerous range. So let's see how we did this time. My guess is going to be these aren't going to be as clean, but I could be wrong. You know, I could definitely be wrong. Let's just see how they broke. So titanium inert, you can see 33% Terranite. Don't like to see that. That's just garbage. I mean, that's 66% trash I'm hauling in. So, you don't want that. It's just not good. Once again, 20% Terranite. See, you can see this actually requires a secondary break. This particular piece here, which is, unusual, but it does happen. And it's only 50% Terranite. That actually might break clean, though. There's no, there might be one break that's clean in that, which is good. So we will break that one down and see if we can get a pull on it. This is, that's a 50-50 ball. I don't want to pull in 50-50 balls. They're too dirty to, for me. But listen, other people here, including Drac, I'm looking at you. Other people here would argue that, I'm jumping over, I'm jumping over a $50 bill to pick up a quarter. But I don't feel that way. It's just how I want to mine. I try to get the cleanest possible load that I can get in there. And that's just for me. Once again, a 5940 ball is not going to work for me, right? So this is a 2700 mass rock. I'm starting, I'm pretty far outside the max when I'm starting here for the fracture, right? So anyways, I'm going to start moving forward. I'm hoping this breaks 50-50. And that 50-50 would mean, one good clean Terranite, one good clean. All right, so we're moving forward. Cool. This is already, I'm not even in a range where I have to worry about it. I'm outside the range that's going to damage my ship. That being said, I don't want it to be, I don't want to overcharge this by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on it. I'm backing away. I backed away just a touch. You can see, it's almost like turning off the laser sometimes when you back away. But it is still climbing just a touch, which is great. This is, I want to slide into the bottom of the green. I don't, I'd like to get as much of it as I can. If it gets anywhere north of, say, 50% into the green, I will nudge back again and let it decay out. I did that. I just nudged out twice. I'm letting it fall out, letting it decay, I'm holding it. I'm well out of the range that it should damage my ship. But I am going to still back up anyways. Cool. That really broke up. Let's see what we have here. Now, you got to get right down on them once again if you want to, figure out what they are here. That is 5% Terranite. I'm looking for anything that's north of 60% Terranite. That's what I'm looking for. Something that's a little cleaner. There we go. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for. 96% Terranite. That's clean. I'll take it. And that's why that titanium cluster value is so important. 47% Terranite. I would imagine this is going to be 100% or something titanium. Something like that. One of them is going to have a high titanium value. I would imagine. Hey! Oh, 440. That's a 50-50. What was this? Oh, I missed a couple. I'm like, hey, where's all the other stuff at? This is actually broke clean, like I had hoped that it would. You can see that's a mostly titanium there. This little guy's probably going to be mostly titanium. We'll see. But a couple of other excellent rocks to pull up here in just a second. That's a 50-50 ball. We're not going to do that. So 73, I will pull that in. It's a little dirtier than I want, but it's okay. We'll make a sacrifice for that. There was a 98%er. We'll pull that guy in too. That's great. And so far, we've got a little over 1 SEU of garbage and 15 SEU of a tier 1 resource. And I like that. You know what I mean? I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and I think I looked at all these. Yeah, these were really big. Those last 2 rocks were really big, as I recall. So up we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set the scan angle back to 180. I'm going to let out a mighty roar, a mighty ping. Oh, I want to set my velocity up a touch. So I, toggled out of scan mode for just a second. And off we go. So, yeah, I have really been enjoying. Now, one thing about Yela is you really do want to stay out of the... I mean, Yela will get some snowstorms. There's an 8950 RS signature value. Let's go ahead and let me do a collapse scan on that. Ping it out. I can see that they're right there. If you notice, the signal strength grew incredibly, right? So... And then once we get into a range of around 3,000 or so, I will switch over to mining mode. In that area, I will go ahead and decrease my velocity, and I will work my way towards these rocks. But yeah, there are snowstorms, or at least like a snow fog, or some kind of a weather effect here on Yela that can be a little tricky. But that plus nighttime, oh, it's very brutal. So... You definitely want to do, and also when you are night mining, people can see you from such a huge distance. Pirates can see you from such a huge distance. That's not a big deal right now. 323 or 322 is just not very busy. So I'm not saying I wouldn't get pirated. I mean, but it's a pretty low likelihood at this point. So that's a barrel in titanium. Once again, loving that the secondary is titanium. The other one that you come across on Yela's, it's too bad. This is probably going to be barrel. Barrel is not a great. That's a 22% gold. That's not going to work for us. We really, as you can see, the last 2 times at least we had a 37, 38% type of thing. That's a 21%. I think this last one's going to be a picker. Nope, not quite a picker. 1236. And just titanium. So, yeah, you can see there's like a snow foggy thing that can kind of happen. I don't know. It's an atmospheric condition, and it definitely can get in your way there. Oh, look at all these opportunity markers. That's great. So that is a 1710. That is a 6850. And that is an 8950. Was this an... Okay. I think... Yeah, so let's go ahead and mark these ones right here. And when I scan, I can see like a secondary ping. That's what kind of gives it away. I hope that you can make that out in the video. You may not be able to. And yeah, there's a couple of interesting... Here's one here. I just seen the, the kind of the diamond icon type of thing. And then now notice I'm doing like a 22 degree like angle scan. When you get a little closer to it, you can do that in order to keep the rock icon kind of on your, displayed on your UI. And I'm just going to go ahead and approach here. Now, for those of you that know, I've done a lot of mining and since should be not lost on you guys, and so yeah, I haven't been doing as much lately because there just doesn't seem to be a reason to, outside of just pleasure, and that's a good reason to, but not necessarily. It hasn't been enough necessarily to keep me kind of doing this thing, right? Especially at the solo prospector level. And I'm not the biggest fan of the solo moling. I mean, it's okay. I don't blame anybody who does it. It makes perfect sense, but... So here we go. I'm going to shoot some rocks here. Once again, you kind of strafe them. See, it's just kind of weird how they kind of come and go. But anyways, I'm okay with it, however it works out, as long as I can break them and scoop them. That's a 15,000 mass rock. It's a laranite. I think that was an aluminum secondary. Oh, no, it was a titanium. Sorry. I totally read that wrong. It was. What do we have here for... This is a shale deposit. 29,000 mass rock. So, obviously, shale's looking like it's it's one of the heavier... Because these don't look like... I mean, you get close to them and they are massive, but they don't look massive from this distance. That's a good size, very doable size with... Laranite and Terranite. It's too bad that wasn't like Bexelite and Terranite, right? Because that would be like a 50% rock. You know, and you do see these from time to time. And here's what I'm talking about. It's got Laranite and it's a 50% rock, but Laranite's not really a tier 1. When you get to double tier 1s, that's when you're like, hey, I got lucky. So climbing above this hill here. Here's our first one. I just love the, you know, Star Citizen's so beautiful. Absolutely do love it. 23,000 mass rock's going to be out of my wheelhouse. You know, with the Prospector. 23,000 mass rock once again. So, you know, let's go ahead. I think it was kind of over this way if I reorientate myself. Yeah, they're right there. And here's another one here. What is the RS value on that one? Hard to say. I'm not really getting a whole lot. Let me 180 scan that over there. Oh, hold on. I see a... Yeah, I just seen a field here. Like the diamond icons flash on the UI. And so, yeah, I've got a field there as well. So let's go ahead and fly over and take a look at these. Then we'll hit that other field, and then we'll kind of see where we're at. And you can see that the sun's starting to get a little low in the sky, so we're getting to the point where, you know, we may have to reposition. I don't want to be in the dark for a variety of reasons, and it's starting to get dark already. So let's go ahead, and I will reposition it. It's for safety and that type of thing. Notice it was inert, but then I just kind of moved off it back on. 28% gold's not going to cut it for us. This is an aluminum cluster as well, so it's that point, a little bit step down from the titanium, which is okay. Yeah, let's see here. We've got a 47% Bexelite rock. We will be cutting that one up. That's a picker. And what's this guy? $7,600 mass. Let's hopefully 30% gold. A little. Now this is a small rock. It's only a 3640, but I can tell you that is, you know, it's half of its Bex. Now we'll have to see how it breaks. I am coming to about here, and I'm gonna start moving in now towards optimal. You can see I'm already moving it. Once again, I hold on G. Oop, you could tell she was really rolling up there. So I backed out. I flattened it out, right? So now I'll nudge forward. You know, and so you've got to, you know, it's always good to kind of start outside the max or right around the max range, you know. Now I'll nudge forward again, and she should start pushing up a little faster than I want. But it is what it is. So I nudge back, and she's just kind of holding flat. So I'm going to just give her a tiny nudge in and see if I can kind of split the difference. And that does look like it will eventually work its way up. The question is, how much patience do you have? Alrighty, so we are cruising here. I did nudge forward again. I hope it doesn't get too crazy, you know, jumping up there, but I do want to just kind of close the gap. So yeah, I'm watching it very closely now. Okay, I just did a mini back, and I'm watching it to see. I think it will continue to close here, but it will actually enter the optimal. It looks like it's nudging backwards a touch. It is. I just did a tiny nudge forward to see where we're at. See that, and that's the distance game of the Helix, and it is going up in there, so that's perfect. Yeah, I scrolled back. I'm watching it very closely so it doesn't kind of get out of control. So, but it looks like I'm well out of the distance that would damage my ship. I look like I'm in perfect range. This is going to be a pretty good break, and we'll see if, you know, we'll see how this breaks. Hopefully, you know, there's 23 SCU in this rock. 12 of it or so is going to be, you know, pretty good stuff. So there's your 224. That's an inert with 10% backs. Okay. What about this piece that's sliding away down here? 42% backs. Oh, I hope this... I mean, is this going to be that dirty of a mix at a 47% rock? It could be. You never do know. 28% backs. Let's see what we have here. I mean, this is just a shame. When you use a 48, half the rock's Bexlite, but it's all mixed up with garbage. 50-50 ball. Is that really the best we're going to get out of this? It could be. And you know what? Then we'll just move on. There's no point in picking up trash, in my opinion. Filling your ship with just Garbola. Yeah, it ended up being more or less a 50-50 ball, which is not great. Now, you can see here, sun's on the horizon. I'm going to pull back. I'm actually going to spool up. I am not going to be, in any way, shape, or form, I am not going to be mining in the dark. And so, you know, it kind of caught up with me here. And so I'm going to get some altitude. And I am going to head towards the sun. And then I will just kind of head back down. And head back down could mean one of a couple things. It could be hitting another OM a little further along and then heading down. It could be, you know, just you know, maybe there's something I can get to as far as you know, place to fly to. All right, there we go. Cool. That kind of gives me a good indication of kind of where we're at. Afterlife is 506. Connors is 362. Let's head towards Connors. That seems like it's reasonable. I'm trying to keep the sun as high in the sky as I can, right? I don't want to necessarily lose the sun. And I definitely don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm out of the sun in the dark and I'm in a snowstorm. It's like Aberdeen. It's pea soup. I don't like that. It's not easy to kind of navigate in, and you're just kind of constantly questioning your positioning. And so for whatever reason, you know, there are no atmospheric filters in the year 2950, whatever, you know, I wish there was, right? So, you know, but hey, you know, you also get a chance to see a little bit different part of the planet, which is great. You can kind of look up towards the sun, which is very high in the sky. That's excellent. And let's just go ahead and rinse and repeat here. So, we are going to, my velocity's a touch high. I'm going to adjust that, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get a 180 ping going. Send it out. There is an opportunity marker right here. Oh. Hard to say. It might be a diamond icon. You're definitely not going to see the diamond, you know. I mean, it could be a gem is what I'm wondering. Let me go ahead and just kind of scan here. Yes, it was a gem icon. So let's keep moving on. I will kind of head over towards this more gray area. You'll get a little more, just a little more contrast. And in the interim, you can see I am right there, 7,400. That's great. But once again, I think that's going to be a gem icon. But I seen some rocks over this way. Diamond icons collapsed over this way for sure. Yeah, you can see that was diamonds. I just kind of naturally flew over and got kind of the proximity on them. And a little weathery here, but, you know, we'll make do. Beautiful. There's rocks up this way for sure. Here's the first batch of them. And quite a few different fields here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and reduce. Get into mining mode, reduce, get in here close. If they're not going to give me anything, I'm going to take the laser off, and I'm just going to kind of spray these bad boys and then turn the laser back on. And that usually just is the cure for whatever reason. Shooting the rocks wakes them up. Beautiful mass here, 10,390. Unfortunately, just a titanium rock. It's a titanium field. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next mass on this one. 6,700, very doable. And looking like it is a 34% gold rock. That's just under what we're looking for. We really are looking for kind of these north of 40%. Although, I'll tell you, that little Bexlite rock was a rough mixer for sure. That's 27% Terranite. That's not what we're looking for. And I will say, many people make the argument to me, they could be back to the station 2 or 3 times. I've done that type of loop before too, and I'm not convinced that's that much faster or more profitable than, you know, kind of what I've been seeing. You know, I'm not you know, that's just my own opinion. You know, but I can tell you right now, that's a great little scan right there. Cool. And then let me get these guys as well. Yep, I seen them right there. Once you see your signal strength kind of just race up, cool. Now you can just kind of come in here with like more of a mid-range scan and just kind of keep those things on your radar, and off we go. So a couple of more fields to look at here. I'm crossing my fingers. You know, we're still at a 15-to-1 ratio, which is great. You know, but you know, these videos tend to run long, if you know, and this is mining, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, you're just not finding them in a good enough concentration usually. 46% laranite. Laranite's a tier 2 resource, not worth the price of admission. Big rock, 38,000 mass rock. That's a mole buster. That's a laranite rock as well. This looks like it's a what? That one is. That's a picker. It's 43% titanium. But remember, you know, like when I break them down into purples, I want them to be north of 70 if I can. You know, that's my goal, is to get them where, you know, it's at least a, you know, at least that. That is a 46%. Okay, well, we'll break that guy down and see how it is. It's a little rock. What's this guy? Another little rock, but let's see here. Just titanium, I think. Yep. So the last one that was kind of high percentage but didn't break very clean. So I don't have a lot of faith here either, but let's just go ahead and see how we do. So once again, I'm turning on the 100%er. You can see when I start to hit. All right, it's starting to register. It's climbing pretty fast. I backed up a little bit and just kind of keeping an eye on it. It's still climbing pretty fast. Gotta be careful. Yep. All right, I did a double nudge away. All right, now 2 smaller nudges in. So two longer nudges out. This is my 3rd small nudge in. I'm watching it now. This is where you kind of gauge your distance and that type of thing. I'll give it another small nudge in. I want it to be increasing. I don't want to sit here forever and wait for it. But I also don't want it to be in one of those situations where it's very, very much sliding, you know, in great increments. Another little mini nudge forward. I'm trying to push it now up towards the... And you can see it starting to climb. And that's what we're going for. You can see the atmosphere settled in a little bit. That's what I was talking about. You put nighttime with this atmosphere and it's just, you can't see anything. Very difficult for, you know, for alignment, where the ground is. You're constantly pinging. All right, it's about to push in. I'm going to let it. I'm going to go ahead and I'll roll and get some contrast. Put that right in the middle of my... And it should push in now. I really like it. We're in no danger of damaging ourselves. That's exactly what I expected, was it to poke in. I did nudge back just a touch. I will see if it's going to decay out, and it doesn't look like it is. Looks like I've got it kind of where I want it. Got it on the ropes. You know, I'm wondering if this littler rock at 46% is going to break kind of like the other one did. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but you know what? We'll find out here. Okay. We'll go to extraction mode. Remember, you got, like I said, with extraction mode, you kind of gotta get right in there if you want to get them. What do we have there? That's a 13%. Yeah, that's, you know, that's not great. That was 13% purity on the tier 1. Not what we're looking for. What about this? 100% Terranite. That's exactly what we're looking for. And we'll move in on that and scoop it right up and be real happy that we're able to. And that's what we're looking for. Obviously, the cleanest possible tier 1 that you can get your hands on is good. That's a 50-50 ball. I don't like that. You know, I was very happy that I got one clean one. So, yeah, once again, a 50-50 ball. Let's take a look here. I mean, half this rock was 100% Terranite right there, too. We'll take it. We'll scoop it in. Perfect. And then here's this last piece. And that is a low percentage. Oh, there is one more little... real little guy. Holy smokes. Oh, it's just below the surface. 22% Terranite. Oh, is there one more there? Nope. That's a couple of 50-50 balls. Not what I'm looking for. Okay. And then I looked at that. I think over here was where those other fields were at. Let me just kind of... yeah, right there. I kind of thought that for a sec, but yeah, I thought let's give it a scan and validate. And right now, you know, we're still 17 SCU of good clean material. And you know, but you know, we're probably running into the 30 minutes by now. I mean, and this is not gonna, you know, that's what I mean. It's like it's a lot of work right now for the money that you get. And I wish they understood that. You know, and maybe they do, and maybe they've just kind of set this up for how it will be tomorrow. But I can assure you, I really bet you if they were to look, there's not a lot of people prospector mining. I mean, I would almost guarantee there's very few, or you know, it's, you know, I mean, the only reason you're really doing this is for pure enjoyment. 23,000 mass rock is going to be a little out of the wheelhouse there. It is a laranite rock as well. 4,000 mass rock. That is a 29% gold. $5,800 mass rock. 36% laranite. Oh, my voice is a little scratchy, guys. You know, I was fighting the cold there for a while. It's been pretty good, but I think the amount of talking I'm doing is I mean, I feel fine. I just probably maybe the amount of talking in the videos got me a little more scratchy. And then what do we got? Just a titanium thing. So you know, the weather's great and all, but you know, I don't really, you know, I gotta be honest, it's not my favorite when you're in weathery condition as well. But at least we're not facing the you know, like the absolute crushing wind of, you know, of the Microtech systems like Calliope and that type of thing are just brutal. That's going to be a gem icon. We're just going to go ahead and sail right past that. And we are looking to try and fill the rest of our ship here. .180 scan, just kind of sending it out. And let me just kind of point right at these mountains here just to make sure. No big deal, just keep on the trucking. You will find things. I mean, you know, persistence is key in the mining game right now. And some people, you know, mining isn't their favorite thing to do, you know. So, you know, the fact that, you know, right now it's fairly tedious to try and, you know, dig out any kind of a profit and to make it. There's a lot of skill involved in the loop. And is that diamonds? Thought so. Ah, yeah, it is. They're right there on the top of the hill. What do we got here? Definitely diamond right there. You know, if the diamond icons kind of like, they flash, but then they all kind of just go, like they pull into one spot, that's definitely a diamond icon. You know, if it kind of like flashes a bunch of kind of like some spread out diamond icons, those are going to be more, those are going to be more your rock icons. All right, so a little something to work with there. Let's head on in on it and see what we got. So now I'm very happy with my 17-to-1 ratio right now. Don't get me wrong. But if I look at my watch, these videos will tend to run long. This is just an average run out here. Now, people, there may be other places in the verse. I've been focusing on the Crusader system the last couple weeks, and I will be doing a little bit of looking into that. But I can tell you, it's very, very, like I certainly was not having any better luck on selling, and I wasn't having any better luck on Daymar. Doesn't look like this guy's going to be friendly about scanning it. Let's just move on. If it was a bunch of rocks, I'd care. It's only a single rock. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, you can see here. I can see the diamond icons kind of spread. Let's get out over here. All right, we'll go ahead and switch to mining mode. Now, Star Citizen continues to be an absolutely beautiful game. I absolutely love Star Citizen. I cannot say enough good things about its progress. I'm happy with where it's at. I am looking forward someday to when mining, like, you're mining because you need to build the base. And so you need a certain amount of corundum. You need a certain amount of diamond. You need a certain amount of aluminum. You need a certain amount of this and that. I'm really looking forward to those times, but we're just in a kind of an in-betweener state that's not really genuinely cool for just your best use of your time. So that's a 63%. I think it said 63% titanium. And that was it. So what about this guy here? An igneous deposit. 32% Terranite. Too bad that's not a great. It's just not high enough. A little bit smaller, probably rock here. 33,000 mass. 36% Laranite. And this little guy here, what do we have? Beautiful area, by the way. Let's see what we get on a scan here. Now, this is an interesting rock. It's a 38% Quantanium. And so it is 16 SCU. So, I mean, you're looking at about maybe 5, a little over 5 SCU Quantanium. So I will do this because I think just for the brevity of bringing the video to an end, let's go ahead and take a look at doing this rock. It is a quant rock. It is high. I'll scoop the rest of whatever this is. It's only about 5 SCU Quantanium, but that actually that 5 SCU Quantanium is as good as any other tier 1 that I was going to get my hands on to full. So once again, though, I've got to be real careful. I'm approaching here. I'm going to put it in fracture mode. You can see I have a very, very tiny window to work with, right? So I'm just kind of looking to see what the best ways to take advantage of that shadow there. I'd like to have some contrast on the UI. Okay, I got the contrast there. And I'm going to have to get a lot closer than you would think to this thing, even though it's not a real big rock. Now, let me hit G. I'm going to free up the laser head. You want to kind of... Very doable rock. I'm going to inch forward here. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm going to let it run up. But this is going to be another how am I going to do? We'll see. It's running up. It's running up. When it gets north of that 100% line, I'm going to start maybe scaling back a touch because I don't want it to jump in there too funny. All right. Good. I did a mini nudge back. Now I'm just checking out what we're going to do here. And this is why I have the 2 focus 3s on this thing. That would be it would be an impossible sliver. I'm nudging back a little more. I'm watching it. It still looks like it's closing pretty good. Very good. It looks like this is the pace that I want to enter it at. Okay. Good. Oh. It was really... I inched back. I nudged back pretty good. It looks like it's decaying out. I'm going to push forward in a little bit. I'm going to let it jump up a little more. Holding very, very steady right now. I like where it's at. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I backed out. I think I handled it perfectly. You know what I mean? So that's about as good a break as you're going to get with it. And you can see I actually took a little damage, even though I was clearly outside of the... But you know what? We didn't take much damage at all. And anything with Quantanium in it is kind of coming with me, although I am going to prioritize higher percentages of Quantanium in the secondary break first. That's a 50-50 ball. If there's one that's got, you know, if we get, and that's probably going to be the highest percentage if I'm being honest, or pretty close. Another 50-50 ball. So yeah, we'll just start scooping this stuff, you know, and so we're hoping to bring on about 5 SCU of Quantanium. That's what I think here. If we have enough wiggle room. Oh, notice I'm not. You gotta get real close if you wanna pull it in better. I will scan this rock underneath it. See if it's any better. 56%. We'll pull that in. And what do we got here? Still got plenty of wiggle room. That's a 6% quant and an 18% quant. Let's grab this here. We're just over 3. Okay. I am hoping that this has got another good size rock. Probably not a ton of quant in it. Good. That's what we're hoping for. Good. We're about just broke 5. Okay. And there was another rock down here as well. So, you know, my I thought there was around 5 or 6 SCU or so. Let's see what we got. All right, we'll do the 30% next. That's a 6%. That's an 18%. And we might get 6. Yeah, 6 SCU of Quantanium. I'm not going to complain about that. All right, that's storage full. We're going to go ahead and turn this guy off. We'll turn off mining mode. I am going to flatten out here. Okay. Point my nose to the sky. Going to give myself a little bit of... We're going to start lifting off, right? Look at that, beautiful. Cool. So let's go ahead. We're going to mark ourselves. Now, one of the things I will say, back in the day, the Quantanium was, you know, a little more difficult of a situation. You know, as far as the timer goes, you got 20, you know, the extra time that they've tacked onto it, it's no problem. So, you know, I am very happy with the run that I just made. You know, I ended up with a little over 20 SCU of good, you know, 23 SCU of good stuff, but 6 of it's Quantanium. So my best guess, I'm going to say on our way back, my best guess is we're going to be somewhere around maybe 85 or 90,000 will be its half value. You know, so you can judge for yourself. I mean, you know, about how well we did, but we'll see. I mean, the half value could be as high as 100. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be slightly less than 100. It might be. It'll probably be right around, you know, between 85 and 100. Well, let's find out. So we're heading into CRUL1 right now. And I'm honestly not even sure how long the videos ran. You know, this is your typical Prospector mining run. I mean, yes, it can go faster. Yes, I know that there are people that are just going out and grabbing tier, you know, whatever, tier, you know, and they're doing much faster runs. I have tried that several times and I haven't had a whole lot of success with it. The good news about this run is the Terranite, at CRUL1, there's no refinery damage. Like, I think it might be a little bit negative on the quant, but we'll see. I can't remember. I don't think it's a positive on the quant, but it's okay. I mean, once again, it's risk versus reward as far as time goes and that type of thing. You know, as far as hauling it to a different refinery, that would give you better offsets. You know, it's here nor there. I mean, if we're just being honest, the only reason you really should be doing this right now is for fun. You know, because if you want to make pure profit, there's other ways to make way better profit. You know, there's other things to do in the game that are funner. You know, I hate to say that because my favorite thing to do is mine. And someday, you know, I hope for there a big resurgence of mining. And I don't, you know, I love the changes that they made. I just think that they should have either they need to fix scanning so it's easier to find the rocks you're looking for. They need to do that. They need to set it so you could use a scanning ship like a Terrapin or like an Aquila or like that Drake's, you know, Scout or whatever. You know, things that have specialized scanning mechanics should be able to go out there, find things easier, and put a marker on those things so I could fly back to them. You know, that would even increase the fun. I think being able to fly like a specialized scout ship, mark the rock and fly back, I would be cool with that. You know, that type of thing. You know, just that, those types of things would help. Or, you know, if you're not going to do that, then I think what you need to do is you need to, you know, just make more north of 40% tier 1 resources. I mean, that's just, you know, change cluster values. Do something that you get a little bit cleaner runs or whatever. You could see when you're discerning, like I was, you can get I had a 17-to-1 ratio going. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, I of course flew around for, I bet you this video is going to be 45 minutes or an hour too. Now I've dropped my gear, dropped my VTOLs. I'm coming in very, very, very gingerly. And that's how I like to do it. Easy peasy. This is an industrial ship. You know, I'm not setting any world-class speed records out here. We're just kind of cruising it on in. I have, you know, as soon as we finished mining, I went right back to my Styx VKB Gladiators. Absolutely love these things. I actually just ordered a second set for my second machine. You know, and you know, that's how much I like them. You know, is they're that good in my opinion. And so, really, really, really enjoying. I've been enjoying mining again lately, and it's just because it's like going fishing. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm loving the money that you make or whatever. It's just I really just love flying spaceships and Star Citizen. So, in we go. Little choppy there. Easy peasy landing. Beautiful stuff. We'll go ahead and we'll do. We had just a tiny little. We put a scratch on the mining head. You can see that. Boom. Looks like we're refueling and that type of thing. I'll go ahead and kill the engines. We'll head down to the refinery. We'll check the half value and we'll sign off. So I appreciate you listening. If you've listened this far, I have absolutely. You guys know I love this game, and you know I definitely can tell you that I have been really enjoying. I'm in a really, really great organization right now. Absolutely love them. You can send me a DM if you're wondering about those guys. You know, a lot of old friends in there and a lot of new friends. Really, just wonderful hearts, good people. And I am, of course, really looking forward to 323. There's a lot coming that I think I'm gonna really enjoy. Really looking forward to like the cargo missions. I think those are going to be fun. I hope that it's not too hairy around the distribution centers. Will admit I have that fear. You know, but that being said, it is what it is. And so Miss Prospector stored, and we'll head down to the refinery, and we will do our thing. Go ahead and get you some final rough numbers and do a proper sign off here. And you know, I will say thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you all for hanging around. I know, you know, like I said, once they kind of made mining just it's just not as profitable, and it's the content. I'm not. I don't know that would transition away from mining as far as content on Star Citizen. I love doing this stuff. I truly do. It's just that it's not. It's just not. There's no point in it, really. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think once you do hundreds and hundreds of runs of this stuff, it's it is what it is. Outside of, I thought it would be helpful. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff that was playing lately. So I do want to check the half value here, what survey says. Oh, wow. Better than I thought. 117. So this ended up being like a by the time I pay my refining fee, it's 200,000 run. So, once again, that's not chump change. It's not terrible. That was actually a pretty good run. So 200K Prospector run. And probably it's slightly better than that, all things considered. Let's check the Dynex. We'll set up the work order here. We'll get a quote on the Dynex solvenation for the Quant and the Terranite. Get quote. So it is 11,126. So yeah, it is going to be around 200,000 by the time I haul it. We'll confirm that, and off we go. You can see I've been doing a little mining, right? I've got a few. Certainly got a few things brewing or whatever, and you can, that's a bug that I've noticed, where when you do a refining job, it won't show you the rest of the UI. But here, if I kind of slide on over here, what? Come on, man, give me a break. Don't stop. Don't stop believing, guys. Anyways, you can see I got some orders in. I'm going to be doing pretty soon. I'm going to be doing a cargo run to haul it in. And so yeah, a lot of gold and Terranite, gold, Quantanium and gold, some gold and Terranite there, gold, Bexlite, gold, Terranite. You could see I'm a tier 1 guy. That's what I like to do. So that being said, let's go ahead and do this here. Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for joining me, for sure. I will be doing some videos around 323. And they're going to be much like this, kind of real dirt under your fingernails, day in the life kind of video. So I can't thank you enough. I hope that you're all doing well. Please do leave me a comment. I love talking to you guys. I know it's been a while, but this one's for you. So I will see you all around the verse.